Just jump then into hyperlocal, which I'll take as that as leading into hyperlocal, which I guess was, again, a theme that has been going around for a very, very long time. And I remember back in 1999 being very pleased when Orange came to me saying that the second most popular thing when they researched their consumers, what they wanted on their mobiles, was last-minute deals. Obviously, that heartened me. That's still, is it true? Is it true today? I don't know. It still hasn't. I don't think anybody's still doing that very well. And bear in mind, I'm not pitching for lastminute.com because I sold it a long time ago. But what it leads to is that area of the geotagging, the Foursquare type devices, the Facebook local, Google IP tracking, isn't it? Google IP local. So how should people be thinking about two things: marketing hyperlocally via mobile or the web, and secondly, business opportunities in that area?
Well, there's no doubt that location-based services is the big topic for actually the back end of this year and next year. And you can see this through a number of players effectively coming and making announcements. Google made some announcements recently on this, Nokia as well. And from an operator perspective, we see this, of course, as a great opportunity. Not so much to tag the user, but to actually bring services that are only possible if you effectively know where you are and where are your friends. So it's a major development area for us. I think it's a major area of development for most vendors and platform developers. So it's the sort of area where you can think also there are some technology challenges attached, which is at the moment the Harry Potter map doesn't exist when you actually see people sort of moving around a map in real time. But that actually is not that far, and we genuinely believe that there's a complete different business model behind location-based services.
And any regulatory barriers still up there? Any EU regulation that can stop this? Anything you think the Liberal Democrats might put through? Any?
Well, I wasn't in a cabinet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had that chance to talk about it.
You might be.
You never know. They may need a French guy. You never know, actually. But it's there are sort of obvious limitations that people have in mind in terms of privacy issues, and I think everybody has that in mind. But I think I'm looking at the glass very half full here, which is this is a fantastic opportunity for people individually, but also for businesses. So on that basis, I would assume that this is something that everybody will encourage in the future.
I'd say from the gaming industry, it's interesting how location-based targeting is actually opening up new platforms to traditional operators. So last week, Betfair made headlines by releasing a betting application on the iPhone. And this would have been unheard of until last week, but by using geo-targeting, they can restrict the audience in a way that satisfies the regulators just to areas where their license covers them. And they're the first to do it. It's going to be followed by a flood of other copycats. And we're seeing a big opportunity there.
I think there's two things I would say. So one is, I think there is a big privacy issue, but it's because people don't really...
Is this because of Google Buzz?
Because they don't really know. Well, Google Buzz, we did not launch in the best way possible, but we recovered very quickly, and we're very open about it.
You've got to try this stuff.
But I think it's a good illustration that consumers are willing to give up their private data if they can see the utility in it, right? So if you can make a service very useful by making it locally relevant, then that's great. But the fears about privacy are fairly undefined. So I think we, as an industry, have to do a much better job at educating people about how they can, get transparency about their data and control it, etc. Then and see the usefulness in it, because if you do say where I am and your map is centered where you are so that you don't have to type in the location, for instance, that you want to search in, but the map knows where you are, that's on a mobile phone, that's a very, very, very useful service. The other thing I think about location-based, I think for small businesses, it's hugely useful in an advertising context because you can limit your ads. So, if you're selling locally, there's absolutely no point selling everywhere. So to kind of restrict to an area of a map, which you can pretty much draw any shape that you like now, is just very useful from a business point of view.